I'm a stay-at-home dad, 34, due to a health condition. My wife, 33, and I have been happily married for 7 years, raising our son, 6, together. Lately, my health issues have caused me to miss work, leading us to decide that I'd stay home while my wife pursues her career. She doesn't travel often, but she's currently away for work, a planned trip for a conference and training at another company location. As she packed her suitcase on our bed, I assisted, ensuring she had everything she needed. Just before she left to grab her PJs from the laundry room, I seized the opportunity to slip in a love note from both myself and our son, expressing our love and how much we'd miss her. While arranging the clothes, I stumbled upon a set of lingerie I'd never seen before. It struck a nerve. She rarely wears lingerie. My heart sank, feeling a wave of hurt wash over me. As she returned, I remained silent, my mind racing with fears and insecurities, haunted by the worry that my health condition might make me less of a man in her eyes and possibly lead to her leaving me. That night, things felt off between us after we had sex. I couldn't shake the feeling, blaming it on my health issues as I had in the past. The following day, I drove her to work and later to the airport for her flight. Despite my internal turmoil, I contemplated removing the lingerie from her suitcase, knowing deep down it wouldn't change anything. Instead, I went to the store, bought a box of condoms, and placed them on top of the lingerie with a note requesting she not bring anything back for me. 2 nights passed since she left. We spoke the first night, and the following evening, she called during our son's bedtime routine. I handed him the phone, and she talked with him briefly before disconnecting. It seems she discovered my notes. Update: to understand the situation from my wife's perspective, here's a bit about us. We both hail from a small suburban town and grew up in conservative families who've known each other for years. Our educational journey included a Christian school and college. We were high school sweethearts and each other's firsts. In college, we only had intimate relations with each other, if that holds any significance. We've both admitted to kissing someone else at some point, but nothing beyond that. After wishing our son goodnight, we had a phone call scheduled for 9 p.m. I made a quip, saying I'd call if you're not busy. She didn't pick up, so I reiterated my intention to call at 9. When I did, she was in tears. I waited patiently until she composed herself, then expressed the need to talk things through. I wanted to understand her perspective. What had I done to drive her to consider cheating? How long had it been going on? Who was it with? She shared some of this information, and I listened without interruption, only speaking if she fell silent. The wife's recent job promotion necessitated occasional travel for training purposes, usually accommodating stays in well-appointed hotels with restaurants and bars, a departure from our usual economy class accommodations when we travel. In 2019, she attended her first 2-night training session alongside a few colleagues. They planned to meet up for dinner on the first night, a casual arrangement. After dinner, they adjourned to the bar, a setting somewhat unfamiliar to us as we're not big on bar or club scenes. Amidst the conversations and observations, a woman in business attire entered the bar with an ID lanyard, distinct from my wife's company affiliation. She sat alone, engaging briefly with the bartender before a man approached her. Their conversation ensued, drinks were bought and consumed, and eventually they moved to a table. Another round of drinks followed, and they left the bar together. In that moment, my wife couldn't help but think, I just witnessed the beginning of a potential one-night stand. On subsequent evenings following training sessions and group dinners, a familiar business-clad woman entered the bar, now recognized by the ID badge from a prominent company. She settled at a table due to the bartender's busyness. This time, a different man approached her, and after a few drinks, they left together as they had the night before. My wife raised the occurrence with her colleagues, and one experienced team member explained that while not a regular occurrence, such pickups weren't unheard of in these settings. The relative anonymity and the allure of a one-night stand in such situations caught her interest and gradually sparked a fascination. Throughout the year, with several more training sessions, some nights observed hookups, while others didn't. When 2020 halted travel, her fantasies persisted. During our intimate moments, she confessed to sometimes envisioning herself in a one-night scenario. Admittedly, we've struggled to communicate our sexual desires, leading her to keep these thoughts solely in her mind. Nevertheless, she convinced herself that she could engage physically with someone else, drawing a line between the emotional and the physical aspects. In April of this year, her work travels resumed for 2 nights with 2 colleagues accompanying her. After dinner, they headed to the bar, yet she didn't witness any illicit activity. She had packed a particular piece of lingerie, a black, lacy one-piece that covers her torso and breasts. As I recall, she referred to it by a specific name, although I can't recall it now. With her colleagues, she left the bar only to circle back, hoping for some action, but both nights were uneventful. Come June, she embarked on another overnight training session. This time, she chose to wear the lingerie underneath her attire. At the bar, sipping her wine, a man from across the room approached, offering her another glass and requesting to join her. Conversation flowed, but as the situation escalated, she began feeling anxious. When he suggested taking their drinks upstairs, she initially remained silent, then pointedly showed her wedding ring, stating her marital status. In response, he mirrored her gesture, proposing secrecy. She declined firmly. They continued conversing until he excused himself to the restroom. At that point, she swiftly left, retreating to her room. She recounted feeling overwhelmed, sweating, and on the brink of hyperventilation. She insists that nothing transpired between them. This week was quite eventful. She had a training session, coinciding with a conference in town within walking distance from the hotel. Given the additional educational credits available, she eagerly signed up for the conference. Although it was in another hotel, the convenient setup along the road near the airport allowed easy access between multiple hotels. She attended her training but discovered our notes and the condoms as she prepared to dress up for the conference. She called our son, yet facing me seemed too difficult, so she abruptly ended the call. According to her, the conference was a disaster. She couldn't focus and felt so unwell that she skipped the afternoon session, retreating to her room instead. As I sit here at baggage claim with our son, him engrossed in his iPad, I'm recounting these details while typing this up. If I've missed any crucial information, I'll be sure to update it in the comments later. I've decided to have a conversation with her tonight and through the weekend to verify the consistency of her story. Initially, I had planned to spend the weekend at my parents' place, leaving her alone at home. However, I changed my mind and opted to drop off our son, allowing us the opportunity to talk. Friend, how do you like this story? Write about it in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. Love you.